they've been lying to you like they have for the last few years? So before they get off the stage, I gotta thank my children, especially Chloe, who was basically functioning as my Jill Biden, to make sure that I was capable of walking onto a stage. Now think about this, guys. We're running against a party that wants to take away your AR-15, but they gave a vegetable the nuclear codes. Think about that. Think of how insane that all is. Each and every day, there's a new measure of stupidity, a new level of asinineness. And what's great is, it looks like they're sticking with Joe. After lying to us for 5 years, that this guy is competent, that this guy is fit to serve. Raise your hand here. If Joe Biden showed up to pick you up in an Uber, would you get in the car? Would you let a friend get in the car? Would you let your worst enemy get in that car? Maybe. Dumb ways to die, right, folks? But this is what we're dealing with each and every day. Just this week, Joe Biden announced that he's going to veto a required proof of citizenship to vote. I wonder why that would be, folks. Why do you think they would stop that?
He's desperate for votes.
You're right, we do. We have to stop this deal. We have to beat the margin of fraud. To win by 2, we gotta win by 6.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the game they've been setting up. There's a reason they've let in 15 million people. Venezuela right now is the safest it's been in decades because all their criminals reside in our neighborhoods. That's what's going on.
Send them back.
There's no other explanation
Send them
for it.
back.
They're not even hiding from it at this point. They realize they can't run on the economy. They can't run on inflation. The adults that are back in charge have, let's just say, failed us miserably. And we've seen it each and every day. Remember, the adults are going to be back in charge. They told us this. And let's just say, I don't feel it yet, guys. It's been 3.5 years. You'd think you'd see it by now, right? I am a reasonably spoiled individual. And if I go to the grocery store, if I take my kids to McDonald's and I'm pissed off, no, seriously, what does everyone else feel?
Yeah.
If I get it, if I see it, how do the Democrats not see it? How do our representatives in Washington, D.C. not understand it?
They do.
We went from a time of peace and prosperity, success for everyone in our country, to a time of disaster. War, death, destruction, poverty, and it's only going to get worse if they keep doing it. Remember, I talk about the Noah Center, right? The adults are going to be back in charge, and we got our Secretary of State on a world stage after the disastrous Afghan withdrawal, saying with a straight face that he was shocked and dismayed that the Taliban, folks, the Taliban did not install, and I quote, a more diverse and inclusive government. I would say end of quote, but then they'd say I'm Joe Biden reading from the teleprompter. But think about it. He's like Ron Burgundy. If you put it on the teleprompter, he will read it, folks. He can't make that distinction. But what's scarier, guys, is they allowed this guy to be in charge. They told you with a straight face that this is the guy that was going to bring reason to the world. He was going to keep you safe. He's the guy you can count on with 4,276 years of experience in Washington, D.C. And now we see it. But think about it. It wasn't just the media lying to us about his competence. I love you too. We need more love, folks. And that's what it is, guys. You know what this is? Right now, it's about love. It's about love of country. It's about love of our future generations and our families. That's what we're fighting for, because I can assure you, Donald Trump didn't need this job.
Nope.
He didn't need it in 16, and against all odds, against the biggest onslaught of media attacks, against the biggest and unprecedented onslaught of Democrat opposition, against opposition from people within his own party who would tell their constituency that they agreed with everything. He faced opposition from them, and he still got it done. And all Ryan, well said. With Republicans like Paul Ryan, who needs Democrats? But remember, folks, it's not just the media. It's not just the Democrat elite. You have a bunch of Senate races going on right now. Sherrod Brown in Ohio, John Tester in Montana. They vote with Joe Biden almost 100% of the time. They told you with a straight face, this guy is the right guy for us. And look at the results. Abject failure. But they pretend like they don't have anything to do with him. Now they're distancing themselves from him because they're running a campaign. They're running a race. But you voted with him 100% of the time. You're on the record repeatedly telling us this guy's going to deliver for you peace and prosperity and success. And he's failed across the board. We got to remember, guys, this isn't about the presidency. We need to win everything. We need to win school boards. We need to win state legislatures. We need to win dog catcher. And we have to hold those who lied to us for the past 5 years accountable for their lies. And honestly,
Lock them up. Lock them up.
Lock 'em up.
and honestly, it was longer than that, right? It was really 8 years. Because the second my father took the oath of office, they went after him. They went after me, I know. I did 50 hours of congressional testimony. Now, I understand that I am not the upstanding citizen that Hunter Biden is. I get that. I understand. No, I get it. In my next life, I want to be a Democrat because you can actually be a crackhead that sells out your country across the board, and it's just fine. They will protect you and take care of you. We don't have that luxury. But what we have is great people like you who are willing to stand up, who see through the nonsense, who are willing to push back. Now everyone sees it. That's why they're running their importation operation, right? Because they realize that even reliable Democrat voting blocs aren't voting Democrat anymore. We see that here in the great state of Florida because people from Cuba and Venezuela who are escaping real persecution, they don't want to bring communism to America. And that's what they're doing. But think of what they did to my father and our businesses and everything, right? 37 felony prosecutions, a $500 million fine. They fined our organization $500 million almost for paying back loans on time with interest. No, but just to be clear, Boeing Airlines, a major company, just got fined $240 million for 2 plane crashes where they admit some sort of fraud and negligence that killed 340 people. Just for perspective, so you understand where we were. 340 people by a major corporation that's acknowledging their guilt in the matter. 340 people dead. They get fined $243 million. We get fined almost 500 for paying back loans on time. No, that's the perspective. And guess what, guys? If they can do it to Trump, they can do it to you. But more importantly, if they will do it to Trump, they will do it to each and every one of you that stands up for the freedoms, our beliefs, our rights, the things that this country was founded upon. And that's why we have to be here to take it back. It's why we have to say enough is enough. We have to take on that swamp. We have to take on the bureaucracy. And they're going after my father now harder than ever before because they understand now he knows the game. When he came in as an outsider, it's, I get it. We came in as an outsider. It's a little different. It's a little different. You have to learn it. That takes time. Right? The plum book, the 4,000 jobs assigned by the president. I think he'd been in Washington, D.C. for 2 cumulative days prior to winning the presidency. You don't know who those people are. You don't know who you can trust. A lot of them you can't. Now you know. Okay? So this is what we have to fight back against. The corruption, the lies, the gaslighting, the nonsense and the noise. And we're not in a fair fight. We don't have a $1 trillion institution that is our mainstream media backing us. We don't have that benefit. They'll lie about us all day long, with the exception of 1 or 2 people I see on the dais up there. We don't have a $1 trillion institution of big tech. We don't have that. These are the same people that protect Joe Biden, that told you he was rational, he was clear, he was lucid. The fake doctor, think about this. Today, the story broke. Joe Biden's doctor, the one that says he should not take a cognitive test because clearly everything's fine, right? It's so fine. This is Joe Biden on a stage. It's not that hard to speak. I'm not even using a teleprompter. He can't even do that right. Right? The doctor that's telling us that Joe Biden's fine is also a business partner with the Biden family. Think about that for a second. And of course, you know, again, if we had actual journalists left in this country, people would talk about these things. They would bring up the point. They would drive home that point. If it was Donald Trump, you're damn right they would be talking about it, rightfully so. If I was Hunter Biden, if that was my laptop, I'd be at Gitmo. And my father would have been the person that sent me there. Hey, we all need a little kick in the ass sometime in our life, okay? Hunter needed it about 50 years ago, but never got it.
You're much cuter.
I'm much cuter, thank you. I like you, baby.
Good job.
So guys, the reality is this. You've seen it. You've seen the attacks. You've seen the unequal administration of justice in our country. You see the way they treat good, hardworking Americans. You see the America Last policies that have failed us and have enriched our enemies and have emboldened our enemies, because that's the reality. Democrat policy and the weakness they exude on a world stage is why we are seeing the chaos and turmoil that we see across the world. It's the nature of predation. It's a story as old as time. Predators prey on the weak, and when America is weak, when they're leading from behind, when they have an incompetence on the world stage, enemies will act. The wars will go away the second my father is elected. By the way, they'll get to the table the second November 5th happened, even before he takes into office, because they realize he'll drive a harder bargain than the morons that would rather, have trans admirals than actually win wars. Right? Have you seen some of this stuff? They're shocked. We can't recruit anyone for the military. I wonder why. Can't quite figure it out. Good, patriotic, hardworking Americans don't want to go die for the transvestite that was given an admiralship simply because they were transvestites, right? I mean, it's not rocket science. It wasn't like they were the greatest soldiers in the world. They were just, they checked a couple more boxes. So, guys, between now and November 5th, there can be no letting off the gas. You must speak to your friends. I'm not so worried about Florida. Feels pretty good, but we still got to win the congressional seat in all the down ticket races. But each and every one of you need to call your friends across the country. You need to speak to them. You have to make sure they understand what is happening. You see it around the world. This was an article I read today because it was just so disgusting to me as a father of 5 young children. Here's the article from the Daily Mail. Danish 17-year-old girl who used pepper spray to fight off a rapist near migrant asylum center. Sure, had no correlation there at all. Was told she will be prosecuted for carrying a weapon. So, a literal victim of rape is going to be prosecuted for defending herself. That is the liberal mindset. That is what Democrat policy will ultimately be in that country. You see them refusing to prosecute crimes here. Only Americans, only patriots, only those people get prosecuted. You're a criminal element. As long as you'll reliably vote Democrat, you have free reign. We have to speak to our friends. We have to get them engaged. We have to get them involved. And we have to take our country back because it's worth it. The American dream is worth it. Our freedoms and our liberties are worth it. And our children are sure as hell worth it. And we have to fight for them across the board. So, God God bless you all, Miami. Thank you for your support. Thank you for fighting like you do. I love you guys. And I promise you, as long as we're here, we will fight tooth and nail to save everything you all stand for. You're the best. God bless, Miami.